Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to SORMAG's Book Festival. This is our last panel for the day, and I'm super excited to have with us Tammie T, Polk, and Aziza Sphinx. They are here to share with us the business side of publishing or promoting or writing. So much to know about the business side. And it's also a side that we don't talk about much. We just get in there, write the books, and publish them, and don't think about that this is a business that we're starting. And so I am super excited to talk to both of them because they have different takes on this side. And we're going to see what we have to hear today. Joining us, come on, ladies. Hello, hello.
Hey, hey,
Hello.
hey.
I am so excited to have you both here. And I have different things. I love talking to Tammie because she thinks outside the box. Aziza does too. She does with the writing, but Tammie on the business side has done so many amazing things. And I'm wanting her to share some stuff that she does with her own business. But I think she taught me a little bit about the 9 streams of income. You come with your book, but I want to let them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about who they are and how they're handling their business side.
We're going in
We're
any
going with
particular
Ziza first.
order? Okay. All right.
Yeah, you go first.
All right. So, good evening, everybody. I am author Aziza Sphinx for today. I also write under the pen name Energy of Write. So, depending on the type of writing that I'm doing, we'll go back and forth between my two pen names. I am a techie by trade, but I am a writer by necessity. I am a hybrid author. So, my first books were traditionally published. I've done some small press publishing, and then I've also done self publishing. So, I've kind of dipped my toe in varied ways of doing the publishing side of this business. So I'm hoping to share my experiences, hoping to be able to pull some of my history and experience from the music industry and kind of share some things that I guess people should always be aware of, whether they're self publishing or whether they're working with a publishing house.
Hey, everybody. My name is Tammie Polk. I bring you greetings from the home of Elvis, the Grizzlies, and barbecue, Memphis, Tennessee. So, not too far away from LaShonda. I am a book expansion coach. What I do is I help authors take the books and anthology chapters they have already written and build multiple streams of income. Why? Because when it comes to breaking into coaching, training, and public speaking, authors always seem to think that they have to write something new. And I'm here to say that's not the case.
Oh, I love that. I love the repurposing the content. I'm big on that. Very big on that. We talked earlier in the panels about writing, and then we went into publishing the book, and then we talked about marketing. And so I wanted to talk about the business side because when I talk to authors, when they come to me to get marketing help, I ask them, "What is it that you want to do with this book?" And most people, they're, "Oh, I want to get it in front of
Mhm.
readers, you know." And I tell them, then you realize that this book is going to open different doors for you. And are you ready for going inside those different doors? You know, when I published my book in 2015, I never dreamed it was going to open up the door of coaching. That wasn't part of the deal. I was just putting the book out there. You go read the book. I ain't trying to help you like that, you know. But so many people kept sending me messages. You got a program? What are you doing? I need to work with you. And that's when I started learning that there were different streams of income that I could get from this book. And I think Tammie did a class in my group about the different things that you could do because Tammie does everything. But I would love to talk about these 9 streams of income because a lot of times writers they think they got a book and they aren't. I've made more money on the outside of my book than I have with the book, I per se. So being a coach, doing workshops. I just got invited to do a cruise for next year to teach a workshop on, and and that's from the putting this book out there. and thinking. And so I always tell my clients to dream big, dream really big. What is it that you want? What would you like to see it take you? Where would you like to go? So you're prepared, because I was not prepared for the streams of income. I was not prepared for that, because I had put this book out and I was just going to sell the book and then that's it. I'm teaching workshops from the book, turning it into a course, you know, doing worksheets from the book, take, like you said, taking pieces of that book and repurpose it over and over again, and doing different things from it, doing social media posts just from my book, you know. And so I think that a lot of people miss that because they just think, oh, I got a book. Even a fiction book, you can do those streams of income, because somebody want to know how,
Exactly.
what you publish. When I published that book, I hit publish and said my book is released. I got 5 DM. How you do that? I was like, what? That was another stream, but I was like, no, I ain't going down that road. I ain't going down that road of teaching you how to publish your book. You know, but I end up still going down there because people want to know. They don't have anybody, and they know you, they trust you, they ready to come talk to you because you did it. You helped them. It's not just reading a post or something, you know. And so you have to be prepared for that. So we're gonna start with Tammie, because I know Tammie, she did them streams of income and she's still doing them and she's still multiplying. I see her do new things every year, and I just admire that about her. So Tammie, what advice would you offer to somebody who just released their book? What should they be doing to know where to take their book to the next level?
Well, you gave one important thing that all authors need to remember, and that is that the genre of your book does not matter. And I'll give you an example of that. I had a fiction author to say that to me. And I looked at her and I said, do you have a copy of your book with you? She said, yeah, I just have one. I said, give it here. So I took her book, I broke down her characters, the issues that they had, the underlying big issues that came through the book, came through as I read the book. You know, things like mental illness, being a teen parent, being a teen athlete with a child, just all of these different things that her characters were going through. And I came up with simple questions to each one. Do you see yourself in this character? How? You know, have you been in their situation? What came up for you? And that became a workbook, a study guide, if you will. And then we developed a PowerPoint with talking points. So she had stuff for small group discussion. She had a book club layout and just all of these different things. But her book was fiction. But she was going into relationship coaching and just felt like she had to have all of these different things. And she needed to have this type of program, or she needed to have this type of handout, or this coach did this. I said, baby, pick up your book and talk, because you got married folks, single folks, divorced folks, gay folks. You All of the relationships, mother daughter, mother son, father daughter, father son, all of that is right there. Use the scenarios that your characters went through to
Mhm.
guide your coaching program. And so after her first workshop, she emailed me just crying buckets in the email. You know how you read an email sometimes and you can like, she's crying buckets in this email. And she said, where did you get all of this? So when I do a book expansion project, I look for 5 things. What other books can you write from it? Because there are times when we'll read one chapter and be like, you need to just pull this out and put it over here. I look for what events can you hold based on the content of your book, using your book content as your talking points. Services. When I tell an author that their book can be a coaching program, the first question that they ask me is what? How? And I answer a question with a question. How many chapters are in your book? 10. You have a 12-week coaching program. Huh? Week number 1 is the acclimation and getting everybody in the Facebook group, Slack, Teams, whatever you're using. Take a chapter a week. That's the 10. And then week 12 is to close everybody out, screw up the group, give them next steps, and all of that other good stuff. But within that, weeks 2 through 10, that's your content. That's when you pull out those main points to share throughout the week. And then you throw in a live Q&A, lather, rinse, repeat. And it can be one-on-one or it can be a group. Then I look at merchandise. And LaShonda, I know you have seen my boxes.
Mm-hmm.
I am a merchandise fanatic. And I'm not afraid to do that. For example, my book, Girl Go Eat a Cookie and Then Handle Business, the pettiest piece of merchandise that I have is a blanket, a 50-inch by 60-inch blanket that has Girl Go Eat a Cookie written on all 4 corners. So you can tell somebody to get out your face with either corner of this blanket. And then social media. I look for those blurbs that would sound good on social media. So those are the 5 things that I look for when somebody gives me their book. And yes, I do think out of the box. Another example that I can give, an author wrote a book about blooming where you're planting and growing and all of that stuff. I said, you need to have a garden party where you buy seeds and the tiny plants and the little tiny potting soils and the gardening tools, and you put your book and your workbook in there, and then put it all in a picnic basket. The picnic baskets that come with the plates and the utensils and stuff already in it. I said, put all of that in the picnic basket with a blanket and use your backyard or find a park that doesn't mind, you adding, the little plants to it. And as you're working through the book and talking through the book, you take time to plant. And she said to me, do you have a charger port? She's like, you got to be a robot. You like human. But that's just how my brain works. Another
That's your
client of mine,
superpower. That's your superpower.
she wrote a book on menopause. And one of the chapters where she talks about is write down how much you're saving when you're not buying sanitary products anymore. I told her, I said, that's a workshop, and you help them women plan to do something with that money for themselves after the first year. So I was once told that a book used properly could yield up to 64 streams of income if used properly.
Wow, I was saying Nash,
64.
64. Wow.
I I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm up to about 22.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a third of the way there, but people have to understand that there is a gold mine in your pages. One thing about me, When I go speak, I have specially marked copies of my books strictly for speaking engagements. And I do that for 4 reasons. One, to keep me on track. Two, people are going to wonder what's in my hand. Three, they're going to start doing this. What are they looking for?
More copies.
A vendor table. They're looking for a vendor table. And four, I'm going to leave with the ability to buy free cookies because they're paying for the cookies. Every speaking engagement I do, just about, I make money in 4 different ways. But one thing that you will see is that I don't do anything that doesn't come out of my book. It's coming right from those pages. So I tell authors all the time, if you are just looking at what you're making from book royalties as an author, that's why you're depressed. That's why. Because you haven't learned to tap into the gold mine that is in your pages. It's right there. It's right there. Y'all know I can talk about this all day. You might want to ask another question. A whole workshop on this. I did a full workshop on this at a writers conference back in March. LaShonda, I'll send you the link to it because I did record it. And people were just like, but you didn't write anything new and you built 22 strands of income. Sure did. Yeah, so that child, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Go on, ask the next question.
What about you, Aziza? You want to jump in on this?
Yeah, I've done a lot of that too. Especially like I have a course that's Sanity Through Fantasy, a transpersonal approach, which kind of pulls together my transpersonal psychology degree and the therapeutic side of fantasy writing. So just in general, same thing with the writing process. You were asking us earlier about kind of what our writing process was and all. And I do have another course, which is Beat the Block. So it's creative and out the box ways of overcoming what I like to call as writer's avoidance. I don't necessarily like to label it as writer's block. So I do that as well. And of course, you know, because I've been doing this for a long time with just handling the business stuff. So making sure that you get your Library of Congress numbers, your copyrights, those sort of things. People keep trying to, like you, LaShonda, push me into how'd you publish and this, that, and the other. And I am very aware of what I do and don't want to do. You know, my goal or my whole primary reason for writing is just that writing. So, you know, for somebody who wants to make writing and authorship their full-time source of income, we were talking earlier about your motivation. Why are you doing this? And that's going to drive a lot of the decisions that you make as far as how you approach not just your writing, but your authorship. And so being well aware of what you want to do, what your boundaries are, what you not necessarily feel comfortable with, because it could be that sometimes you need to step outside of that, but also being aware of your mental health. You know, there are only so many hours in the day, prioritizing those things that are most important to you. And so part of that process is learning to say no and understanding that there's a give and take with all of that. And so if I say no to that, I know that this could be a stream of income, but it's not necessarily something that I'm interested in doing, especially since I got into the publishing side by being suckered in. That wasn't anything that I ever really wanted to do. So I'm kind of, you know, taking advantage of it as it is. But the reality is that that's not really what drives me to write. I will always be a writer. I may not always be an author.
I like that. I like that. And what knowing what you're comfortable to wanting to do as you advance forward, you know, one of the things that Tammie has is her own bookstore, and she sells her books. I know she's had conversation with people and they want to put their books in there. She's like, you can start your own bookstore, But I like that she was like, it's her books. There's no rule to say she got to put your books in there because it's a bookstore. It's her bookstore.
Exactly. I wrote a whole book about how I did it.
See? So that's how you can do your own store. Mm-hmm.
You can. And one of the first authors to ever work with me is having her grand opening next week.
Okay. Okay. I haven't gotten to where I got that many books yet. When I get to that many books, then I want my bookstore.
It doesn't matter. I got a chapter in the book about that.
Okay. Okay. See, look, that's the mindset, wrong mindset. Okay. And so with you, Tammie, so you're going direct. You're selling your stuff direct, your own stuff. You're not sending people somewhere else to go get your books. They coming to you to get your books. What advice do you have on selling your own books? I know a lot of authors, they like go to Amazon and get the books. They don't really have books
right.
on them.
Yeah. So it's not that I don't send people to Amazon. It just depends on what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got this question yesterday. I'm gonna say a young lady asked me, how do I choose the books that I want to stock in my bookstore?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer was, I know what books of mine have sold well over the years. I've been writing, I've been a published author for 8 years, it'll be 9 next year. I know what books of mine sell well. So I start with those. Secondly, I ask my coaches and mentors, hey, I'm working on restocking my store. What titles do you recommend of mine to stock in my store? And I listen to them. I do. And then any book that I've done a speaking engagement with is a book that I keep on hand, because in this digital world, you may not see something that I spoke at until a year, 6 months later. But I guarantee you, I've got that book somewhere. I may only have one copy of it, but I have it somewhere. So that is what I look at. And then when I make that choice, those books and those books alone are the only ones listed on my website. And I list my real numbers. So if it says that I have two, I only have two. And I update those numbers after vendor events or after someone comes, into my store, and they may buy something that I have on hand. I always keep those numbers accurate. And so I tell people, if it was there on Monday and is not there on Tuesday, that's when you go to Amazon, because I no longer have it. Also, I do not stock more than 10 copies of a book. I made that mistake at the beginning of my journey. I ordered 65 copies of a book thinking that I was just a beast with it. No. Like, I am allergic. Like, I break out in hives over 20. Like, I will eat every cookie in the South. And at 21, I'm eating every cookie in the South. in the South, like seriously. So when it comes to stocking your own books, there are a lot of advantages to that. And when I do online vending events, this is what I tell people. One, 9 times out of 10, and I just see this with my books. If you go to Amazon, you're going to pay more for it than what's listed on my website. Because sometimes I will drop my own price, just depending on how I'm feeling on the given day. When I list the book, I may go ahead, I may list it, say, you know what, I'm gonna put this book on sale. Just boop. Two, the book is gonna be signed by me, not a stamp that somebody put in the manuscript to make you feel like they signed it. It's going to be an actual, hey, thank you for your support. I pray that this book helps and blesses you. I'm here if you need me. Tammie. Then I make it all pretty. So for example, if somebody ordered Girl Go Eat a Cookie, they get it in a Girl Go Eat a Cookie mailer envelope. That's just me. But then, and this is the most important part, you make more money. Why? You've already paid for the books. So if you're stocking your own book and somebody pays you $15.99, you're not gonna get $12.42. You're you're going to get you're going to get that $15.99, because like what the website that I use, there's no percentage. It's a flat 40 cents. I can deal with losing 40 cents, okay? I mean, 40 cents is not gonna kill me. But you get more money if it's selling online. Now if you're out and you're vending or whatever, it depends on how people pay you. But those are my 4 reasons for having books on hand. And a fifth one is, like LaShonda said, you may get a phone call. Hey, we're doing ABCD. We would like to have you come out, bring some books with you. I don't care if you only have 3 copies of it. Take those 3 copies and then you send them to Amazon. You send, Amazon, Shopify, whatever. Well, whatever you have. But the beauty in stocking it is knowing, first and foremost, do not fill your house with them. Like I said, 10, 20 is a stretch. I'm good with 5. But it's good to have some on hand, because you never know where you are going to meet a reader. I know people who travel with a backpack or a little plastic tub in their trunk. In their trunk, because you just might meet the right one on the right day. So you never know. I know of an author, she puts 2 copies of her book in her daughter's backpack every day when they go to school, because the parents and teachers and staff and stuff at the school, they know that their mom is an author. So them babies have 2 books on them. I want to get your mom's book. And then and then she compensates them for it and everything. So having books on hand is only stressful when you've got 50, 100, 120. Like some of these self-publishing companies where you have to get 125 copies of them. I weep for anybody who does that, because that is stressful. If you don't have 9 vendor events lined up in a row, do that. If you're not doing a book club, workshop, speaking engagement, book club, getting into somebody's subscription box, all of which are multiple streams of income, by the way. Don't do that. You won't see me with 25 copies of nothing that didn't nobody ask for. After I made the 65 copy mistake with a $25 book, I never did that again. The closest that I've gotten to that was 40 copies, and that was for a college. And they pay retail too. So, so when it comes to that, don't do more than 20. And then, for the love of all that is holy and sacred, learn what your price per copy is. Because that's one reason why a lot of authors think that they can't stock their own books. Depending on who you publish with, you do not pay the price that you set for ordering your own book if you are with a company that does run and quickly. But I know what my price per copy is for every last book that I have. As daunting as that may sound, praise the Lord for Excel spreadsheets. But I know that it only cost me $2.15 to get a copy of a whole lot of my stuff. So if somebody gives me $20 on a $2.15 book, you know what I'm doing with that other $18.85? Trying to see how many more copies of that book that I can get without going over and spending my own money. I don't care if it's 25 cents. That is 25 cents of Tammie's money that she will not spend. Just a thought.
That was good tips, really good tips. I know from when we went into COVID, I didn't have I'm looking at changing the cover for my book, so I didn't order any of the books. And man, everybody named Mama want a book. Where you got a book? I need a book. Can you send me a book? I'm at home right now. Can you send me a book? And so I sent a bunch of people over to Amazon because I didn't have any books. I've done 3 events that I went to. I didn't have any books, and of course, everybody want a book. Where's your book at? And I'm like, I've got that. So I don't recommend that. At least have 10 books in your, I'm down to my last 2. And then I'm wanting to get, again, I'm working on getting new covers, but I like that you said having 10 copies, because sometimes you don't know that. You don't know that. When I did my book, my goal was to have the pre-orders pay for the copy. So I was able to, I like you said, set that price. I set the price where I got 2 books out of the payment and made a little money. So I got payment and I got 2 books. And so I was able to order the pre-order, and then I had a whole set of books that I bought. So I bought 2 for 1. And that's why I tell people when they ask me that, I'm like, you want to set the price, you want to get books where you can get 2 out of that. When they pay you, you get 2 books out of it, and then you get some money you put in your savings account for later on. And most people, they come up with these ridiculous prices, and they're not doing that, and then they're out of books and they can't buy any more books. And I'm like, you're supposed to be buying 2 books when you do an order. You shouldn't be getting just that one person bought a book from you and that's all the book you get is 1 book, and you still didn't make no money off of that. So I'm glad you said that. A lot of people don't look at the pricing. That's part of the business, is knowing, I was in something, they was charging $8 for the book. And I'm like, $8? That's a lot for a book that I'm getting. That's the author copy? $8? Like, no, I don't think so. She looking at me. I'm like, that's too much for an author copy. I mean, you got to triple that to get to, no. I'm like, I can't get 2 books for 8. That's $16 right there. Then you gonna put a little bit more on there. You took that book almost to $25 trying to sell it to somebody. And nowadays people ain't spending that kind of money on. So you gotta know what people are buying, what they're spending. Sometimes you can get people to spend big money if the subject matter is good, but you're looking at fiction, you're competing with these 15. When you go to an event and nobody there selling $25 books, $30 books most times. So they're gonna look at your book and say, well, I can get 2 books for that price. So you have to be really watching what people are doing, and don't price yourself out of the market. Oh. All right, I have a question about time management. Let's talk about time management, because most people skip that part of the business side. I put the email list in that business side. Putting that, getting yourself together. You said some spreadsheets. You got spreadsheets on different things. Nobody talks about that, so you don't know nothing about that. You get into this business and you go. They're like, I was looking. Somebody was like, "What's your data?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What's my data? What does that mean?" And so I ask questions. So I'm like, what should I be taking, knowing that I need to know? What are the royalties? What do you got on your spreadsheet? Like you said, knowing how much each book costs. If I only got 1 book, so I guess I never had that conversation. But going forward with new books, you want to know that kind of stuff. So what advice do you have on that?
Yeah, so the Excel spreadsheet that I have, I keep my running number of how many books I have, because I like to tell people, sometimes people will ask the real number, because if you say over 100, oh, she's like 101, no, sweetheart, it's over 100. I have my date of publication. Because when it comes to submitting now, for book awards or things like that, they are, or even some bookstores, they are looking for books published in a certain date range. So I have my date of publication. I also have whether the book is Kindle, paperback, hardback, or audio. I have that on there. And then next to that, I have the retail price that I set. Then I have my royalties, what my royalties are, for that, for that particular thing. And then I also have my price per copy for my paperback, and my hardback. I even have a column for who designed my cover, because sometimes I do commission things. I want to remember that. So if I want something with the same kind of vibe, or something that's a little bit more out there, dang, who did that cover for me? Oh, okay, Dana did it. So I have that, there. I have how I publish it, because some stuff is listed on Amazon, some stuff is a digital download on my website, some stuff may be on PayHip. I have on my spreadsheet where it is, and I have that set up with as hyperlinks. So if somebody asks me for a direct link for my book, I can go into that Excel document, pull that hyperlink, give them, direct access, direct, line to the book. And then I have just a notes section, like any nuance about that particular book that may come up. And I do keep it updated, even though I have 172 books. I do block out a day to make sure that all of the books are listed. This is a day that I'm usually looking at my rearranging my bookstore. I make sure that all the titles are listed. And then I go into Amazon. Do I have everybody's publication date? Do I have everybody's price per copy? It is all of that stuff filled out because December is the month that I restock. So if there's been a price per copy change or anything like that, I make sure to keep that updated. I even joke with somebody. I was like, I need to talk to a librarian and see if I can get the software that they use at their school. If I can get, library, system checkout software or whatever, so that I can, digitize all this. So far, nobody has shared anything with me. They're all stingy. But, but it pays to have that because like you said, you never know if somebody says, hey sis, I'm give an example. One of my brothers out of the blue during the pandemic gave me $300 to stock books. $300. Me and that spreadsheet had a good time. Because I told Excel, give me everybody who $2.15. I was able to get 105 copies of books across at least 10, 15, 20 titles with that $300. And I've sold it all. So it pays to take the time to create some kind of system. And like you said, you may only have the one book. That doesn't mean that you don't need to create something like that, because even with your Kindle Vella stuff, you still need to know.
Well, it helps with knowing what was your good months and what were bad months. That's what I started doing. I was like, I sell really well during the anniversary month. I mean, it goes up. I always see it go up in sales. And I was like, I would hit the best selling list and stuff. And I was like, what is that about? And it was the anniversary month. Every anniversary, people were like, oh, I didn't know you had a book. And I'm like, what? But they would buy the copies of the book. So I was like, okay, June and July is the best months for this book, And so, but because I had my little spreadsheet, I knew that I was able to go back and look at stuff. And I've been listening to a lot of people, the 6-figure authors, and that's what they say. They can go back and look when they're peaks and valleys of their sales. But if you don't have any of that, you're just thinking, you looking at your stuff and you're going, maybe this month I didn't make any money, but all August you was jamming, And so what did I do in August to get to that point? And that's what I started learning, was that you need to know your numbers. My business coach used to tell me that time, you need to know your numbers. I'm like, I hate numbers. I'm not making no money. And then my accountant was like, you are making money. You are really making money. And I said, wow, I am. All these little streams of little tininess is coming together and making, And so, but if I hadn't been paying attention to my numbers like that, then I would be saying, I'm not doing that well as a writer. And I realized that I'm not doing that well as a book writer, but the side stuff, oh yeah. Those little 9 streams, oh yeah. The invites to workshops, I'm paying off, My mastermind, people that are in my mastermind. Somebody want to come talk to me. I might have something this month, 6 months, and then 6 months later, have some kind of program, or I'm teaching people how to do Canva. That little stuff adds up, at the end. And then you're going, okay, this authorship is not that bad. Versus I just got one book. So yeah. Yeah, that
And
taking that
it's not about the number of books, and it's not about the genre. It's about what you do with it.
That's one lesson that I
It's
really learned.
about what you do with it. It's about how you talk about it. It's about where you take it, and all of that. It's about what you do with what you have.
And I wanted to have this conversation because I think so many people miss that. They so busy that anybody buying my book. Well, what else can you do? What else can you? It's other things that you can do. It's some people that don't want to do that kind of stuff, and I understand that. Then that means you got to write more books. You know, are you happy with what you got? And I had a client, she said, I don't want to do marketing, LaShonda. I'll let you market for me. I just want to write my books and have fun. And I said, as long as you know that's what you want to do and you're happy with that, I'm happy for you. And so you got to know, as Miss Aziza said, you got to know your why. You got to know what is it that you want from this book. That's my first question whenever I work with a client. What is it that you want from this book? Are you trying to make big money? Are you trying to reach readers? Are you trying to build your writing business? What is it? Your readership? What is it that you want? And if you can answer that question, you have success in it. But when you saying, I don't know, you get stuck, and being stuck is not fun at all. Not at all. Mrs. Aziza, do you want to throw in any tips before we get out of here?
So I don't necessarily use spreadsheets per se, but I do reports from the different places. With the science fiction fantasy stuff, I tend to make my most money doing vendor events just because those are money spending people. Fantasy folks will buy them $20, $30, $40 books. And so, being able, I do kind of sort of have a spreadsheet for people who pay cash, but most of my people pay, via credit card, Square, or what have you. And so after those events, being able to pull down those reports and, reviewing those. Same thing too with when you're running ads through, if anybody's running Facebook ads or Amazon ads, pulling those reports down to actually look to see, who's buying, where they're buying, depending on how your site or which company you're using for your website. For example, I know Wix has a lot of robust reports that will show who's hitting your website, where are they hitting it? Is it in the US? Is it Brazil? Is it the UK? And so being able to take that information and then massaging your ad copy or who you're targeting, your targets for your different ads, the times that you're running those ads, how frequently, if even something as simple as, so for example, my book, The Naughty Chocolatier. I went out and did a Google search of all chocolate related holidays. It can be any kind of random. So people, they think of those type of things. They think of Valentine's Day, but there are so many other just random chocolate related. Some of it's hot chocolate, some of it's Mexican chocolate, but playing around with those as keywords and hashtags and what have you when you're posting can hook people up, bring new audience members who may have been looking for hot chocolate, on National White Hot Chocolate Day or something like that. And they're thinking just the hot chocolate. And now they're being exposed to, hey, there's a book about a chocolatier. And so, looking at those little pieces, things that may be things in your book, such as mental health or something like that. And during those months, using extra promotion time or extra focus during those times to kind of tie in a theme for your book with, a holiday theme or a national recognized day as a way to kind of boost who sees your book or workshop or coaching or whatever.
Those were good.
Yeah, and see, I love doing that because one of my favorite days of the year is actually Monday, and it's National Cookie Day. So guess what book I'm gonna be talking about on Monday? The girl go eat a cookie series.
Look, I got some free cookies because of you one day. You were talking about some cookies that you like, and I was on your post, and one of my reader friends, she said, you like them cookies too. I'm gonna send you some. I'm like, okay.
Look at God.
I'm like, hey, I ain't turning down no cookies now. I ain't turning down no cookies.
Right.
So,
And that's another time management thing too. I tell all of my clients, and I mentioned it here in the festival, go to nationaldaycalendar.com. Start with January. Start with January. You can download the graphics that are up there. Write down those days, put them in your phone as all day appointments. Download the graphics. If you schedule your post, schedule it. Put it out there. Keep those days on your calendar. Make them annual so that they pop up. The following year. There's your calendar.
And there's your easy calendar, and then you can pick, if you got topics, you pick those topics. Like you said, breast cancer awareness, is in October.
Awareness month.
It's different. They have different things. They have little bitty things. My favorite is the force is with you. The fourth day of, I'm in the space step.
May the fourth be with you. Yes.
On the science fiction days, I'm finding those days. And so, it's simple
you
stuff to do.
I'm a billionaire on May the 4th.
Yeah. That's you find the fun stuff, and you're having conversations with your readers because it's something that they understand. They connect with you on those days. You said that I am a donut person, so every time they do donut day, I'm gonna share me some pictures of donuts, or I'm gonna go get some donuts and show a picture of me eating some donuts because I like donuts, So that's how you do it. Okay, I'm gonna get called out on, but this was wonderful, ladies. Y'all gave me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm come back and listen to this and write all my stuff down because I'm planning for 2024, so I need to get all my little business stuff together. This was fantastic. And she says, what you say, 62 things to do for
60. It's 64.
64 streams of income. Okay, I think I'm at 20. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at 22. I'm gonna have to go find that list. I know I got it somewhere. Somebody sent it to me.
That is so many different things that you can do.
Yeah. So it is, like I said, the genre doesn't matter. It's just about knowing what knowing what to do with it.
Okay, so how can we reach you ladies offline and online?
Well, you can Google me anywhere under Aziza Sphinx. It'll show up. My website is azizasphinx.com. And actually, if you want to catch my other pen name, Anagia Wright, if you start with Aziza Sphinx, there's always a link that takes you to an Aziza profile and an Anagia profile somewhere. So start, like I said, you can Google me. I'm pretty much everywhere but X. But start with a Google or start with my website, and that'll get you to anywhere to be able to find either my courses or myself or my books.
Okay. Miss Tammie, how can they reach you?
Definitely Amazon, but please spell my first name right. Oh my gosh.
It's not a Y.
But you can find me. No, it's not.
People always try to put letters in your name. I hate that.
Right, because I wonder how many times an R gets put in your name and then they mad because they can't find you.
LaShandra.
But the Chandra, no, it's not. You can find me online. My website is professionallysassy.me. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Professionally Sassy. I am on X. I don't know how that happened. I probably did that when I first created my social media. At Profession Sassy, or feel free to send me a friend request. Just let me know that you saw me here so that I will actually accept.
And if you're in Memphis, go to her bookstore.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Next year, I'm going to have to do a walking tour.
Yeah,
during the festival.
That'll be fun. All right, we are done with our panels for today. Thank you for everybody who stood in there and came with us and did this. It has been amazing. I want to shout out my Shawana, Miss Shawana. She just don't know how blessed she did me this weekend. She has been, if you need the back end of the StreamYard help, look up Miss Shawana. Believe me, she made me look so professional, y'all. I'm like, I'll be smiling for probably the rest of the month because we made it through this book festival of the panels. I'm always worried about the panels, but they came out great. The people have been so amazing in the room, in the groups, posting information, sharing information. So if you haven't had a chance to do that, go ahead. Stop by the Facebook group. But tomorrow is more panels inside the Facebook group. We won't have any live panels. Listen to my people. Sunday is usually a busy day for most people. So they was like, LaShonda, I can't never make this stuff in the evening because I had church and I got the kids. I got to get ready for work. So we put all the panels on Fridays and Saturdays. And next year we will be having recorded panels. Because the internet shutting down on me is not fun. So I'm going to have to figure it out. I'll go back to the original way we used to do things, but that's okay. That's how you learn. That's how you learn, people. That's how you learn. So I'm so excited that I did this again and didn't let it shut down. And this has been so much fun. So many wonderful new authors to me. Hopefully you've met some new people. I got about a bunch of books. I know what I'm getting for Christmas. I'm telling my kids to give me Amazon cards or some gift cards. I'm buying books this year. That's what I want. So I'm going to spend January reading. I'm not doing nothing else. I'm even going to put the K-dramas down so I can check out some of these books that's in here. So I hope you get some books and add to your big old list of books that you already got. But get some of these authors, support them. Especially the ones that was on the panel. Support them. Thank you for them. I will see you on the net, and I will be back next year. I think I said the 8th and 9th of February of December. I'll let you know. But thank you for being here with us, and we'll see you next year. Okay.